I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com. What's poppin', y'all? Looks like Coi Leray is back like she pulled a rabbit out of a hat, because the last time we had a conversation about her, she was now independent. She was on Republic, then she went to Island, and then she was out of the UMG system entirely, releasing a project on her own, but she somehow gets on another major record label, this time in the Sony music ecosystem. So if you guys are not familiar, there's Warner, there's Sony, and there's UMG, and then there's a bunch of stuff underneath them. So she went to a completely different system. UMG is where The Weeknd, Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, and Drake are. Sony is where Travis Scott, Future, I think Future is still in Epic, and they're in Epic Records too. And that's where Coi Leray is signed. And she did this whole press release, and she dropped a project too, which sold about 400 something copies first week, dropped last week. Granted, this is only a 5-track EP. It's her first project on there. But she went on to say, Epic is one of those labels who understands me as an artist and as a person, and I'm super appreciative of that. They support me rather than try to tell me what to do, and that's all an artist can ask for when it comes to signing with a major label. She goes on to talk about the project, What Happened to Forever, which is basically like not a breakup album, but talking about her situation with Trippie Redd. A lot of people don't understand that artists go through real situations in life. I'm still healing, right? So it's something I don't want to speak about, but I guess I can say I let the music speak for me. The best way I can vent is through the music. When I sat down with Sylvia Rohn, executive, and Ezekiel Lewis, you can tell right away after hearing my story and what I've been through as an artist, their response was flattering and showed how much they understand and believe in me. So, yeah, Tyla is also where Epic Records is also where Tyla is at. So this was a huge surprise to me, and she dropped this 5-song EP. You guys could check it out if you want to. It is rather personal. And not only is Coi Leray back, which we're going to see what Epic does with her. I just wish I could have a conversation with these people, like I always say. What do you see in Coi Leray's career? Because it's not like you're seeing potential. She's already had 5 or so years where she's been dropping and she's been somewhat mainstream and hasn't really developed a strong fan base for herself. And she's not really known as the most talented artist either. I do think she capitalized as best as she could on the pregnancy and the Trippie Redd breakup and him cheating with dropping her own song after it. But it clearly goes to show that people care more about the antics than the song, because that song did 310,000 streams. And it's been 2 weeks since that song released. Fabio Foreign dropped a track and Fabio Foreign's got less monthly listeners, I'm pretty sure, than Coi Leray. But Fabio Foreign dropped a track about Plaque Max situation, and he got well over 1 million, maybe nearly 2 million at this point. I don't remember. The numbers are on the video that I did about that. Unfortunately, for our next topic for this video, because I'm not splitting them into two, it's like sister, Tia and Tamara, twins, Twitches. Is that Twitches. We got YBN Nahmir, who wasn't as fortunate to have another major label sign him for an EP. Although he did have a short stint with one of the worst record labels in the game, Def Jam, for, I think, a single. They had him there for less than 45 days. It was they didn't even get a probation period out of him. And then I think they dropped him. They decided to part ways, whatever the case was between them. But YBN Nahmir has come back, dropped his first track in a while, and it's the follow-up to his classic track, Soul Train. That song is a classic. It's a meme classic. We can't lie about that one. It's stood the test of time for sure. When you hear Soul Train, or when you just hear Soul Train and you think of YBN Nahmir in that song. But he dropped Soul Train 2, which musically, I actually talked about this days ago at helloyassine.com. I sent out my thoughts on it. This is a unique track for YBN Nahmir, and this is something we've had conversations about in the past, which is where certain artists disappear or take extended breaks, and either they forget how to make music, maybe they come back with a new sound, perhaps their old sound gets dated, which for the case of YBN Nahmir, why wouldn't he continue making drill-ish type music? But the people wanted the drillers to actually be drilling, and whilst YBN Nahmir is now a gang member, they say how you go from GD to Crip. he started making some LA music that people just didn't enjoy. He didn't really have a West Coast fan base where that stuff is thriving, and the rest of us normal people could not get down with the type of music that YBN Nahmir was dropping. Add insult to injury with like the relationship stuff he has. He decides the beefs that he had. He's been independent now, which I don't think you guys realize how difficult it is to be an independent artist, number one. And it's even more difficult if you didn't come up as an independent artist. So YBN Nahmir, he came up, he got lit, boom, he got signed right away. And then that did cause some financial troubles. Obviously, YBN Nahmir was filthy rich when he came into the game. Yeah, like one of the craziest car collections, especially for you car aficionados. Those weird cars that I don't know the name of. Yeah, he had all of those. Mod, spec, whatever else they call it. In LA, they love those things. I know the Edgars out there. Y'all love it. Shout out to y'all doing donuts on brand new paved crosswalks. What a sight to behold. But yeah, YBN Nahmir, he ended up going independent after having a major label, Atlantic in this case, pumping him up. And at this time, he was just lit. So everything's going well for you. And then now you've got to take control of your own career. And that's a similar situation that Lil Mosey has been in. While I do think Lil Mosey is in a far better scenario than YBN Nahmir is, because Lil Mosey isn't seen as a meme. He's just not getting as strong of a push as when he was signed. He's still dropping consistently. He's still doing well. Not YBN Nahmir. Lil Mosey's last song did over 1 million streams. For somebody that's completely independent, you're not hearing Lil Mosey get talked about. He's not clouding up off of anybody. He's not affiliated with any streamer, with anything that's going to drive much traffic. That's consistent, and that's pretty good. 1 million streams is no joke at all. People clown that number because they're like, man, this used to get 50 million. Well, how much juicing did he used to have? So for YBN Nahmir, he dropped Soul Train 2. This track I wouldn't call this track bad, actually. It's a good play on the name of it. I think it would have been better if it dropped with a music video. He's probably working on a music video. But with a music video, people would be more inclined to reshare the visual as opposed to just a song, which I did share on my Instagram at helloyassine. Well, for YBN Nahmir, I do think he has a chance of getting lit again because he's stuck. Like, he's sticky in the sense that we know his name. He's just got to come with a couple of heaters, a couple of bangers, a couple of moves. And these are things that I detailed at helloyassine.com. I talked about how if I were tasked with this monumental task to get YBN Nahmir lit, that's how I would do it. It's actually not monumental. I think it would be more difficult to get Coi Leray an authentic fan base than it would be to get YBN Nahmir a fan base because people want YBN Nahmir to win as much as they say otherwise. He's just got to want it as much as, well, we really don't want it for him like that. He definitely wants to get lit more than we want him to get lit. We were all focused on ourselves. But what I'm saying is if he demonstrates that he's consistent and he's trying to get after it and he's dropping good stuff around the right people, a lot of this stuff is circles. And I think it's only a matter of time before he gets to a decent level. Now, do I think he'll ever be lit again or popping again? Hell no. There's a time and a place. And if you let your momentum die down as an artist and you weren't at the tippity top of the game, you're not going to get back to where you once were. That's just the nature of it. Unless you're supremely talented, which a lot of these guys just frankly weren't, and that's okay. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.